my name is Donna McCallum and I'm your fairy godmother, and I am very happy today because I am in this beautiful Dominican Republic in the Caribbean, and I've come here to not only spend time with my wonderful friend and colleague and mentor and teacher Bruce Music, but I've also come to hide away from South African winter.
And wave your wand.
And wave my wand. And Bruce and I, over the last 2 days since I've been here, have just been having the most wonderful conversations, and I needed to share some of the conversations that we've been having with you. Bruce is in the throes of a revolting relationship breakup at the moment, and we've been talking a lot about that. And I have just started, and I'm in the butterfly stage of a beautiful new relationship. And so a lot of our discussion in the last 2 days has been about relationships, and it's stirred a lot for both of us. And because we are both into our personal development and really learning and growing together, we've come up with some thoughts. And Bruce has written
Really? We come up with thoughts? We tend to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And Bruce has then, as a result of that, written an amazing article, which he's actually put on his blog, about relationships. And so I wanted to share it with you in this video and just chat about some of the thoughts that you've been having about relationships. So
okay, I'll go first. So just to paint some context, Donna and I were sitting out on my porch just over here the other night and having a conversation about what makes an extraordinary relationship. And we bounced around a couple of ideas, and the first one that I found was the most important was commitment. And commitment's kind of this word that has a lot of stigma around it. Most people don't like the word commitment because it implies some form of being trapped.
Yeah, well, I'm a commitment phobe,
You're a
completely,
commitment
and that's
phobe?
one of the reasons why I keep leaving relationships.
Okay.
Is because that's like...
Yeah, got it. However, without commitment, relationships really don't have the space to grow. So I want to explain how I see commitment and why I think it's so important in romantic relationships in particular. But you could apply this to business or any other particular area of your life you want to grow in. When you commit to a relationship, I'm not asking anybody to commit for the rest of their lives, so help me God, until death do us part. That's not the kind of commitment I'm talking to. I'm talking about the kind of commitment where you're committing to your own and your partner's growth. The kind of commitment that creates a safe container in which the relationship can occur, can transform, and can safely expand and grow. And what we tend to do is we tend to have escape hatches in our relationships.
Yeah.
So we have these little exits, these little doors that we can use to run away from when we feel too much pain. So, let's say your relationship hits a bump in the road, like maybe one partner cheats. For most people, that would be, an excuse to run out the door. For the partner who was cheated on, it's like, I'm out of here.
It's a massive escape
Yeah,
hatch.
exactly. It's an escape hatch. I'm gone. Relationship over. And there's nothing wrong with doing that, and that might be, right for you. However, if you're interested in having a conscious relationship versus like a garden variety relationship, right? A conscious relationship is designed to have you and your partner grow. And you're always going to hit speed bumps on the road, on the path of a conscious relationship. And that's when you face the choice. Do you use your escape hatch and run, and there at the same time then sacrifice the opportunity to grow? Or do you stick with it and transform and use the fuel of that challenge, that speed bump, whatever's come up for you, to fire your own transformation?
Okay.
And the way to do this, to create this safe container in which this transformation can happen and both partners can grow, is both partners need to close their escape hatches. They need to commit to not using the escape hatches. And for some people, an escape hatch might be a hobby. Like when the relationship gets tough, the guy goes to the garage and starts, doing woodwork.
I'll give you a perfect one. Golf.
Golf.
Golf is
Perfect.
a massive, massive escape hatch.
Okay.
Off with the guys to play golf.
Yeah. For other people, it might be, going and finding sex outside of the relationship. For other people, it might be work. Staying at work all night long to avoid coming home and having to deal with what's really going on. Nothing wrong with escape hatches. They just don't work in a conscious relationship if you want your relationship to grow.
Okay.
And nothing wrong with leaving your relationship either. It just means you've now shut off the opportunity to learn the lesson that you attracted by attracting this, whatever speed bump it is, into your life.
So we cut off our escape hatches.
Yeah.
But does that mean that we now have to spend all our time with our partners? I mean, for me, that's like, what do you mean? My work is important to me, some of my hobbies are really important to me. Does that mean I have to stop them? Does that mean I have to cut them off?
No, that's not what we're talking about at all. What I'm talking about is when the going gets tough and the transformation's about to happen and you reach a challenge, you don't use the escape hatch to escape dealing with what's going on, right? Sure, go golf ahead, go work, go do whatever you need to do. When those are used as healthy expressions of who you are, fantastic. When they're used as ways to escape dealing with pain, it just doesn't work, because if you live a life running away from pain, you're always living a cowardly life. You're living a life where you're not going to ever grow and express your full potential. You're living a life where you have to make yourself smaller and smaller, and when pain comes up here, you close this door, or you close this possibility, and you close this possibility. Eventually, your life becomes a small little box in which you kind of have to squeeze yourself into, because you're refusing to deal with any of the pain that is in your life.
Yeah. So one of the things that we were chatting about yesterday as we were sitting on Bruce's porch that I found a really interesting concept was Bruce was sharing with me how in life it's really important to create a system that where the emergent properties of this system are the result that you want to create. So as a fairy godmother, I teach people about dreams and goals and like getting clear on what you want and then going after the goal. And you brought in a beautiful idea for me of, instead of just going after the goal, creating a system that creates the goal. And in the context of this discussion, in the context of relationship, that's what your article on your blog looks at. What is the system and what are the properties of that system that we need to create this conscious, amazing relationship? So do you want to give us, in just a few other points, just one or two of the other parts of the system that we need?
Okay, good. So just to briefly jam on systems, if you imagine a car as a system and all the components of the car make the car work. If you laid all the components of the car out in the ground, like a carburetor, a wheel, a chassis, a steering wheel, and you didn't know what it was, you could never expect it to turn into a car until you assemble them all together, got all the pieces working together, and suddenly the emergent property, this is from systems theory, they talk about an emergent property, something that emerges that wasn't expected when you have all the parts of the system running together, becomes movement. Now, in a relationship, I think of it like a system, and I've come up with you and I came up with 7 critical parts of the system that, when they're all running together perfectly, create the emergent property of love inside a relationship.
Yeah.
So the first
an extraordinary relationship, because that's what we were talking about.
An extraordinary conscious relationship. Okay. Exactly. So the second part of the system is what I'm going to call recreation.
Oh, I love this one. I love this. This so resonates with me. I completely get it.
One of my mentors, Werner Erhard, taught me that what most people are looking for is not a relationship. They're looking for recreation, right? Recreation being fun, pleasure, the kind of things that we do naturally when we're falling in love with somebody. We go on dates, we go on outings, we go and have dinners, we go and walk on the beach.
We read poetry
to each other. We watch movies. We recreate, right?
We play.
Yeah, we play. And what tends to happen is that after that honeymoon phase is over, we start to get secure and safe in our relationships. And we stop doing the very thing that caused the romance and the love to emerge in the first place. And then over time, as we stop maintaining our relationship by recreating, we end up having a relationship that's boring, exactly, and dull.
I can so relate to that.
Yeah.
I have definitely been in that space where it was all like butterflies and excitement, and then, it became boring.
Totally. So one of the things you want to look at in your relationship is, are you recreating? And if not, you probably want to look at, how did you fall in love with your partner? What were you doing? And start doing that stuff together as a couple again, and it will reignite love and romance and fun. And out of that, a conscious relationship will emerge.
Okay, so that's
right.
Now this is
foundation.
Property system.
Another property of the
system.
system.
So that's the wheel of the car in relationships. Okay.
All right. So the third of the 7, and this is the final one I'll cover in the video, and I'll send you to the article if you want to see the rest, is sexual intimacy and passion. One of my favorite topics of all time.
This has been one of your favorite topics for the last 2 years.
Exactly. I've been on a sexual intimacy and passion journey exploring my sexuality. And what I've found is that a relationship that doesn't have that sexual chemistry tends to get boring very quickly too.
Yeah.
And you've got to have some form of regular intimacy with your partner in order to keep the love alive. That physical connection, that expression of love through sex and intimacy does something extraordinary to the heart. It opens up your heart to your partner and connects you with your partner. And in that space, you can pretty much get through anything.
Now, many people, Bruce, and many people that I've spoken to say, you know, oh, you've got to really marry your best friend, or you've got to actually be in a relationship with your best friend, because after a few years, the sex fades. And one of the reasons why I haven't gone into a long-term marriage is because I am really concerned about the sex fading. Like
terrified of the sex fading.
I'm terrified of the I don't want the sex to fade.
Yeah,
so what is the answer to that? Because a lot of people have this paradigm of like, well, the sex is going to fade anyway.
Okay. There are many answers I can give. The one I'm going to give you is actually number 7 in the list, which is creating emotional honesty and vulnerability. I think one of the reasons the sex fades is because people stop talking about what they want. They stop sharing honestly and vulnerably and totally authentically in their relationship, because they're scared if they ask for what they really want, or they share what they don't like about what's happening in the world of sex and intimacy in their lives. They might get rejected from their partner might get hurt, and over time what happens is this build-up of withholding secrets about what you really want, what you've done, what you're not asking for, how you feel, makes going into the bedroom a scary place, because you go in there and there's just like this wall of stuff that you haven't expressed that stands in the way of you connecting heart to heart. And when that happens, the first thing to die is sexual polarity and sexual passion.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer that if you start off a relationship and you continue with just being emotionally honest right from the beginning, like, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is what my fears are, what are yours, this is what my needs are, what are yours, and start a dialogue for pleasuring your partner and expressing your love to your partner sexually. And if you continue that openly and honestly, you're going to go through your ups and downs, but you're going to keep on going up. It's going to keep on moving forward. It's not going to get cut off.
Because most people find it difficult to have those kind of conversations.
Yeah, they're scary because they're the biggest conversations that potentially present the threat of rejection. And who wants to be sexually rejected? I know I've been a couple of times, and it's been like a knife through my heart.
Yeah.
You know.
So, tell us where our fabulous daring dreamers can get more information about relationships and creating extraordinary relationships. Because a lot of people come to my workshops and they're looking for the soulmate. And what I've been getting out of the discussions with you in the last 2 days, it's not just about looking for the soulmate and having him arrive or her arrive on your doorstep. It's actually about creating the soulmate.
Got it. So I've written a whole series of articles on relationships, and you can read the article that actually goes along with this video in much more depth. If you go to my blog, it's brucemuzik.com, spelled BRUCEMUZIK.com, or MUZIK.com if you're in America. And on the drop-down menu, you'll see the word blog. Hover over the word blog and select relationships. It's in the relationships category, and about 7 or 8 articles will pop up. And it's some of the most vulnerable writing I've ever done. A lot of writing about this breakup that I'm going through right now and what I've learned. And I think if you're in a relationship, or you're wanting to get into a relationship right now, or you're going through a breakup, you'll find it incredibly useful. So it's brucemuzik.com, MUZIK, and then click on the relationships link.
And I'm going to put a link to it from my blog and from my community. So my blog you can find on very simple, fairygodmotherinc.com, or for those of you in South Africa, fairygodmother.co.za. And as always, it's so fabulous being with you and making magic with you.
Yay! Thank you for watching.